listening to Sidewalk Confessionals. My name is Jeremy.
And I'm Caleb. Well, today we had an idea for what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about different websites and apps and stuff that we like. But ultimately...
Which I do want to do eventually because I do a lot of productivity stuff on here, and I kind of want to talk about that, but you don't really do much of that.
Yeah, the truth is I don't do much of anything, to be quite frank with you. You'd be amazed. But reading over our outline for this episode sparked a conversation about the death of Tumblr, which is what we're going to talk about today.
So if you're one of the 3 people in the world who live under a rock and you don't know what Tumblr is, it's an online platform. They have a mobile app. Was the mobile app first? The mobile app can't have been first. It was the website first.
The app was second.
Yeah. So it was born out of a website, but basically it's just a way to share pictures. It's kind of like Twitter for pictures. Mm-hmm. It's basically what it is.
It's Twitter for pictures and more talking.
Yeah. So you can so artists can post their stuff. You have, conversation threads underneath it. And it's a really good community for people to share pictures and videos and GIFs and that kind of media around. But
so naturally, it's been completely overtaken by the only thing people really want to use that kind of service for, which is pornography.
Yeah. So the overwhelming majority of accounts on Tumblr now are porn accounts, including my own. Mm-hmm. And I'm very sad to say that tomorrow for us, this already happened yesterday when you guys are listening to this, but...
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Oh, poor babies.
We skipped the day.
Where did they jack off today?
I know. But yeah, today when you're listening to this, you will probably know that Tumblr is dead. They've nuked all the porn accounts, and the ones that they haven't nuked, they've flagged all of the pictures the pictures that depict what they claim as inappropriate acts, regardless of whether or not they are. Do you actually know why they're doing all of this?
As I hear, a new CEO has taken over Yahoo, which Yahoo owns Tumblr.
Yes.
And they wanted to rid the porn of Tumblr because I guess they thought it was bad for their brand, but specifically was spurned by apparently there's a large problem with child pornography on Tumblr.
Yes.
And in order to deal with child pornography, they decided instead of hiring more people or having stricter measures for posting or just being more on top of it, they decided to just eliminate porn altogether. So they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes.
That may be a bit of a twisted analogy there, but yes, they are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Or in this case, they're throwing the bathwater out with the baby.
Yeah. So... Yeah, so they have a new CEO, like Caleb said. There's an issue with child pornography, and they don't want to deal with that the right way, which is, like Caleb just said, hire more people. Or nowadays, it's so easy to just... It's so simple. Well, maybe not simple, but it's so accessible to hire someone who can code an algorithm and be like, that is a child, and get rid of the post automatically. They were also having a problem with porn bots on SFW blogs. Oh. So there were just the bots that are on every social media. I always
thought that was just kind of like a charming addition to the world.
No, there's bots going both ways. So there's bots that'll post SFW stuff on NSFW blogs and vice versa, and the people who have the SFW blogs, which is safe for work if you don't know, they don't like that stuff being on their blog because
the safe for work people don't like the not safe for work stuff.
Yeah. Well, so instead of dealing with the bots like adults who know how to run a business, I went there. They're just getting rid of anything NSFW on there. There's a problem though. Instead of writing an algorithm to get rid of the bots and get rid of the child pornography, they actually wrote an algorithm to, at least if I understand correctly, They wrote an algorithm to get rid of all NSFW stuff. The problem with this is that it's missing some stuff and flagging other things that are not NSFW.
Ugh.
So not only have they destroyed everyone who has a porn blog, but now they're flagging stuff in people who don't have porn blogs. So they're basically, I mean, this is
I just don't think they made a wise move.
No, it's a terrible,
Not only is the majority of their user base porn users, but even if you eliminate that, you're now fucking with the remaining people.
Yeah, the remaining community.
Everybody's getting.
The problem is some people, actually, I imagine a lot of people who have NSFW blogs also have SFW blogs. I have one.
Well, yeah, everybody has an old account.
Yeah. Well,
You don't put that shit on your main.
no, exactly. Well, actually, I switched them so that my porn blog is now my main. Well, it was when you're listening to this. Of course, it's the main. Yeah. But my other one is just NSFW stuff. It's like fucking, I don't know, just like fan fiction and memes and shit like that. And I like that stuff. But since it's not the main account, if I delete my main, if my other account gets nuked, I don't get to keep the other one. They nuke it all. They nuke my whole account. Mm-hmm. They don't just nuke one blog. So right after we record this, actually, I'm going to delete my Tumblr account so that they don't get the satisfaction of nuking it. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what a lot of people do.
Take yourself out before the blast.
Exactly. Fuck you. I'm not. No. So, yeah, and I've signed all of the petitions and all of that.
It was never gonna.
It was never.
I mean, let's be honest. When's the last time a petition has worked?
It's true. I mean, you're not wrong.
I signed them, but they don't do anything. They only raise awareness, frankly.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how many people sign them either. Well, it's because a petition is not like legally binding.
Yeah, it doesn't
and
have
anything.
any power. It's just like a big bitching.
Yeah, basically.
We're all bitching about this. Look how many of us are bitching about this. And usually it's about very legitimate things.
Yeah. I think this is a legitimate thing.
It is a legitimate.
I will tell you why. We all know that porn is fun. Yes. I mean, everyone likes looking at porn. But one of the blogs that I follow, I can't remember which one right now, they brought up a really good point, which is that, like, if you're into, like, BDSM or any kind of fetishes or something like that, it's really hard to kind of find legitimate information and safe practices.
That's true.
With stuff like that. And Tumblr is a really good resource for that because there's some really experienced people on there.
I will say a lot of the porn blogs that I had, I mean, it's mostly, pornography that they're posting, usually in the form of pictures or videos. But many, many, many of them also had interspersed, people talking about their lives and their sex lives and their sex practices. And then the warnings, the safeties, the use condoms and use protection and practice consent and all this other stuff it's out there. And it's mixed among that. And that's not really... And I don't say this in any way to denigrate Pornhub because Pornhub is old reliable for me, but that's not really something that you find on Pornhub.
Right.
If you're going to Pornhub or many other pornographic sites, it's basically just straight porn content. You're just going there for the porn and nothing else whatsoever. But on Tumblr, there's a voice along with it.
Yeah.
So you do get educated on things.
Yeah, and there's good communities on there too. There's it's not just porn. Yeah, everyone's there because it's pornographic, but within that, a lot of the blogs that I follow and I feel like a lot of people follow, they're parts of the communities that kind of practice those things. So there's a lot of my blogs that are, people are really active in the LGBTQ plus community because that's the stuff that I watch. I mean, but I've seen people post about fundraisers. I've seen people post about events, try to destigmatize things like BDSM.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I think that Tumblr has done not only a bad thing from a business point of view, but a bad thing from a civil point of view.
It's just a big mistake.
Yeah.
When has prohibition ever been a good idea? No. This is basically what this is. It's just another prohibition. People always either find a way around it or it just
or just doesn't work. It just blows up in your face. Yeah. And I am a little bit business minded. I don't own a business or anything like that, but I've thought about it quite a bit, starting photography business or what have you. I mean, let's talk about this a little bit from a business standpoint. You have destroyed the outlet for 90% of the people who use your platform. Mm-hmm. You own, let's say you own.
A lot of people use Tumblr, as their blog to kind of like put their image out there. A lot of like models and stuff like that. With their Patreon accounts. This is actually helping some people sustain their life.
Yeah. No, there's one blog that I follow, and he's constantly like, hey, guys. And he has really, really good, like, loyal followers. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, guys, I didn't make enough money to eat this month, because that's something that happens in this country. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't have enough money to pay my rent and my insurance and eat this month. Can you guys help me out? I need like $100. And it's no problem. And then if someone else that he follows is like, hey, can you help me out? If he can, So it's like, it's a community. They help, like, people on Tumblr help each other out.
Yeah, I always did feel that was like the niceness about Tumblr. It's really connected. Everything's really connected, and there are communities.
Yeah. Yeah, from a business standpoint, it's a horrible. This CEO or his advisors or whoever prompted this, I'm assuming it's trickled down from the CEO, because they did just get a new CEO. Mm-hmm. He's just not. I don't know what his plan is after this, but the way I see it right now, it's an extremely dangerous, detrimental business model.
What I expect it to continue this way for 6 months to a year, receive massive blowback from everyone, and then be reversed, or otherwise Tumblr really will just die a la MySpace.
Yeah. Except MySpace is still active. They can't shut it.
Is it active?
It is, actually.
It's active in the same way that polio is active.
There have been confirmed cases of polio because people don't vaccinate their kids, but we're not talking about that right now.
MySpace isn't dead. There are still 5 active users.
Exactly. That's what Tumblr's going to be, though. I mean,
as long as there's one person, it's still alive.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it alive. The spirit of Tumblr must live on in us.
Yeah. I don't know. We just wanted to bitch about that. It's terrible. It's terrible from a business standpoint. It's terrible from a civil standpoint. You're destroying a community. There's nothing that this podcast is going to do about it, but,
we're gonna bitch about it, because that's what we're here for.
I mean,
and really, I have to. It's just so sad.
I know.
It's just the best collection of amateur porn there is.
I know.
The best collection.
Yeah, I know.
And it's gone.
Pretty much anything you... Oh, there's a fucking... Okay, cat's out of the bag. I like furries. Okay. There's a really good artist that I follow, Zeta Haru. Uh-huh. I mean, he posts on Fur Affinity, but, like, who goes on Fur Affinity? It's like his main way of posting his art is Tumblr, and his main way of getting Patreon contributors is Tumblr. He just decided last year to make art his full-time job.
Wow.
And now he's really going to have to push for Patreon support and commissions, because he can't do it through Tumblr now. So, yeah. I mean, and there's tons and tons of blogs like that are just gone.
So what do you think the future is? I mean, do you think something will rise up to replace Tumblr, or
I don't know.
Will its uses just be kind of dispersed out over the various other sites?
I think that's what it is. I think a lot of people are trying to keep their communities together on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And then apparently Pornhub has a place where you can, like, post art and things like that, like you could on...
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but Pornhub has stepped up. They're like, hey, guys, come over here. And there's a rumor of this thing called Cumbler.
Oh god, just take all the mystery out of it.
I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing. I haven't looked into it.
I mean, could you imagine your grandma seeing your phone? What's that, honey? What's Tumblr?
Nothing.
Grandma, it's just,
Oh god, yeah. I don't know. All of these people are just gonna have to distribute their communities and whatever across different platforms. That was the really cool thing about Tumblr, is that it had all of these platforms just like combined into one place that you can access on your phone just as easily as on your computer. And yeah, that's dead now. 90% of the people who use Tumblr completely gone. And I will not be surprised if Tumblr does not exist next year.
Me neither.
Not even a little bit.
It's a catastrophic move.
Yeah. I don't understand. Why does no one know how to run a business? Small aside, why does no one know how to run a business in this country?
I don't know. This country's really fallen to bits.
I don't understand. I've never owned a business, and even I can see when businesses are doing something immensely stupid.
I have no words, really. It's always easier on the outside than on the inside. But a move like this, it seems like a huge lack of foresight.
Yeah.
Just a devastating lack of foresight. Or maybe even just lack of listening. Who is out there saying, we need to get the porn off Tumblr?
No.
We don't want this anymore on Tumblr.
No one's saying
Who
that.
has said that? If it's just the CEO, then he's not listening to his customers.
Yeah. No one is saying get rid of all the porn. Mm-hmm. What users are saying is get rid of the child porn and get rid of the bots. And I think what happened is the CEO or his advisors are like, hey, no one on Tumblr wants porn anymore. They've just kind of tried to boil it down and simplify it. And this goes back to something that I'm starting to do, like, for myself, just keep in my thought process, is kind of like Occam's razor. Make everything as simple as possible, but not simpler. Because it's easier for yourself, and it's usually better to make things as simple as possible. But if you start to make it any simpler than that, it's at a detriment.
Now that calls into question, for me, how do you make something simpler than it's possible for it to be?
Okay, so like, I don't know. It does the phrasing doesn't make sense, but it is something.
Don't logistically analyze my aphorism. Just accept it.
Oh my god, no! It's like, okay, fine. Make something simple, right? But not any simpler. Don't make it simpler than it needs to be.
Don't make it simpler than it needs to be. Okay. How about that? I can vibe with.
Okay, fine. Fuck ass over here. All right, I think that's it for this one, guys. Oh god. Sorry. I think that's the first time I've called you a fuck ass on the podcast.
Yeah, the first time on the podcast. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. I well deserve this title.
All right. You've been listening to Sidewalk Confessionals. You've been listening to Sidewalk Confessionals. Happy listening and have a nice day. Without Tumblr.